his life to compare with that? Nothing. Why, only a few days before, he tried to make a list of all his achievements, and this is what he'd come up with. 1. I have read 14 books from cover to cover. 2. I won the bronze medal in the 500 metres at Sports Day last year, and would have won silver if Breffney O'Neill hadn't jumped the gun and got a head start. 3. I know the capital of Portugal. It's Lisbon. 4. I may be small for my age, but I'm the 7th cleverest boy in my class. 5. I am an excellent speller. 5 achievements at 8 years of age, he thought at the time, shaking his head and pressing the tip of his pencil to his tongue, even though his teacher, Miss Bright, screamed whenever anyone did that and said they would get lead poisoning. That's 1 achievement for every... He thought about it and did a series of quick calculations on a bit of scrap paper. 1 achievement for every 1 year, 7 months and 6 days. Not very impressive at all. He tried to tell himself that this was the reason he was leaving home, because it seemed a lot more adventurous than the real reason, which was something he didn't want to think about. No, not this early in the morning, anyway. And so here he was, out on his own, a young soldier on his way to battle. He turned round, thinking to himself, "That's it. I'll never see that house again now," and continued on his way, strolling along with the air of a man who knows that, come the next election, there's every chance he will be elected mayor. It was important to look confident. He realized that very early on. After all, there was a terrible tendency among adults to look at children travelling alone as if they were planning a crime of some sort. None of them ever thought that it might just be a young chap on his way to see the world and have a great adventure. They were so small-minded, grown-ups. That was one of their many problems. "I must always be looking ahead as if I'm expecting to see someone I know," he told himself. "Behave like a person with a destination in mind, then there's less chance of my being stopped or asked my business. When I see people," he thought, "I'll pick up the pace a little, as if I'm in a terrible hurry, and am sure to be beaten black and blue if I don't get where I'm going when I'm supposed to be there." It wasn't long before he reached the first village, and by the time he got there he was starting to feel a little hungry, as he hadn't had anything to eat since the night before. The smell of eggs and bacon spilt out from the open windows of the houses that ran up and down the streets. He licked his lips and looked at the window-sills. In the books he had read, grown-ups often left pies and cakes there with steam rising out of their peaked pastry hats, just so ravenous boys like him could come along and steal them away. But no one seemed to be that stupid in the first village. Or maybe they just hadn't read the same books as he had. But then, a stroke of good luck. An apple tree appeared before him. It hadn't been there a moment before, at least he hadn't noticed it, but here it was now, standing tall and proud in the early morning breeze, its branches weighed down with shiny green apples. He pulled up short and grinned, delighted by his discovery, because he loved apples so much. His mother always said that one day, if he wasn't careful, he would turn into an apple, and that would definitely get his name in the papers. Breakfast, he thought, running forward. But as he did so, one of the branches of the tree, the one that had been leaning most towards him, seemed to rise up a little and press itself closer to the trunk, as if somehow it knew that he'd been planning on stealing one of its treasures. "How extraordinary," said Noah, hesitating for a moment before stepping forward again. This time the tree made a great grunting sound, a similar noise to the one his father always made when he was reading the newspaper and Noah kept bothering him to come outside and play football. And if he hadn't known any better, he could have sworn that the tree was edging its way to the left, moving away from him, its branches pressing even tighter to the trunk now, its apples trembling a little in fright. "But it can't be," he decided, shaking his head. "Trees don't move, and apples certainly don't tremble." And yet it was moving. It was most certainly moving.